Good morning. It is Tom Track's birthday teardown video. I would not rather be anywhere else but doing this to teach you guys about the Kraton. So if you guys haven't taken apart an RC car like piece by piece, you probably want to do it because you learn about it. You actually have sometimes more fun tearing it apart than actually trying to like just drive it. Driving it is awesomely fun, obviously, but you guys can see all the rust. I'm gonna show you guys the remedy of taking care of this. Like even my body pins like rusted too is pretty funny. So I'm gonna redo the shocks. I'm gonna take apart the diffs. I'm gonna take it piece by piece, and if you look at the bottom of it, all my screws, they're all rusted as well. So I'm gonna show you guys how to deal with that, and by the time it's done, it's gonna look like a spanking new Spanish. So you would need a little bit of white vinegar. This is the weight I'm going to use in the shocks. Some WD-40. Okay, I got my hex screws. I got an extra camera phone so I could take pictures just in case I forget like what size screws are what. It's a good idea. So like when you take out the screw, see underneath this thing like this, you got like some of these screws for like the ESC mount are different size than some of these screws that are just holding the sidebar right here. So if I'm going to clean it and unscrew that, you got to know which size screws are which because you do forget. And I hate referring to the manual. I just like memorizing what screws are what. Alright, so let's go ahead and take these wheels off. Real quick, the reason why I got to redo these shocks is check it out. The back, when you push it, it comes back up, right? It's good. Look at the front. You push it, it just stays right there. See that? Oh, it comes up a little bit. But I'm going to redo that, clean it out, wipe it down, of course. I have my baby wipes. So you take off every little part and you just wipe them all down and keep it nice, spankly, sparkly, clean. Oh, the teardown has happened. Now I just gotta warn you guys, with this particular screw that goes to this motor mount, you see all that Loctite they put on it. I think they put like red Loctite or some shit. It's like super tight. So make sure you heat that up with the heat gun or blow dry for a long time. So yeah, this is the original chassis and never bent, as you guys can see. Every screw taken off. It's got them skid marks. So the way I organize this to teach you guys real quick, it's very easy. What I did was I memorized the screws, because if you set it up and then you have your rear drive shaft and your front drive shaft, you see how rusted they are, because I'm gonna throw them all into a little bucket like this with the white vinegar, and all the screws are gonna be mixed up. So you know the main set screws, well, I drew myself a little legend here or key or whatever you want to call it. So you know these are the rear the chassis, front chassis, rear chassis diff setups. Like this one, this is the front, and that one's the rear. And I set it up where like I'll know that's that screw. There's only two specialized screws. The specialized screws is the in front of the front diff chassis underneath the servo saver, which is like right here. You could see that the screw is a little different. And then the rear chassis brace, because I got that aftermarket hot racing one, it's a little different too. But yeah, so then the servo horn obviously has a different screw, and then the receiver box has two little ones, but I left them in there. They weren't rusted, so I won't need to mix those up when I do the vinegar soaking. Okay, so that's where I'm looking at. Oh, and another thing is these bolts right here, they're Loctite pretty good on the Kraton, on here, you know, on the hub. So you really want to make sure you heat those up before you take them out too. So, and I organized it in a set where the side skirts are there, you know, on the chassis brace, and it's good to go, and it should be able to kind of figure out how the car is put back together really easily. But when I take apart the shocks, we'll go into that. So while I'm in here, I will be checking the differentials too. And you guys can see, look at the outdrive cup. This is the front chassis center. You know, you got your sway bars, you got your links here on the toe, and then you got your upper A-arms. See how rusted that part is too as well. So, you know, I will be, and then the servo savers here, that's how it's set up. But damn, look at that outdrive cup. I'm going to have to dip that whole thing. So what I'm thinking is I'll probably take out the whole diff center area and just like soak the whole thing in the vinegar instead of having to take the diff apart. Because I already tuned these things. I like tuned the center with 500 weight and the back and the front already. So I don't want to have to go through that again. I'll probably just take the whole differential and just like chug it. I'm gonna need 2 more bottles of that. Pick that up on the way. After you take it out of there, then you'll take them out and you'll WD-40 them so they're, you know, won't get rusty again. I don't know if I'll be able to get into every single screw, because I noticed these screws are all different as well. Like these ball ends and stuff like that. So this legend may increase. Anyways, as I'm working through this, these area with the front shock tower and the back shock tower is another project in itself than just the center. The center is easy because there's a couple screws, you know, you just kind of like go into like the back part, you know, 4 screws, and you got about 6 here, and then you got about 20 more in the middle for the center diff, and then it just kind of unlocks and unravels. It's really easily. But yeah, it's looking pretty good. This is fun, guys. It's something you definitely want to do. So let's get to it. The shocks again. Alright, so now that you got all the shocks off, these are the fronts, the rears. The real project was taking the front chassis part off, and then you know, getting these dog bones, because I'm going to soak these all in vinegar. And this is the back, you know, taking it off, getting the sway bar off and stuff. The key is trying to remember like which piles of screws are what, because those are the standoff pile. And then you got, these are the hubs that I took out separately, you know, and then I got screws all over the place. And then these are, you know, the rear drive shafts or rear dog bones that I'm gonna have to soak, and I have to figure out how to all fit it in a bucket like this. So if I, so what I'd put some parts back together after I pre-rinse it and like scrub it down with soap like this on the back, the rear chassis part, you know, because I do want to hit these drive shafts. And instead of taking the whole diff off, I could probably set it up like this and it could fit in perfectly like that. So when I set the vinegar up to here, I could just soak it in there for a couple hours. Then I'll probably soak these drive shafts or these dog bones, you know, and then get some of the screws going. For sure I'm gonna have to do the front ones. See, these are the front ones right here. See how they're all rusted up inside there? Soak those for a couple hours, rinse off all the dirt first, and then yeah, we'll soak it for about 8 hours or 16 hours or whatever and get it all set up. And then I'm gonna take this 40 weight, and I'm just gonna do the front because I already did the back before. So I'll do the front, wash it out, and then let the oil come out, hit the bladder, you know, and the pistons in here. And you can see, because when you push it, it's like real tight, so it's kind of, dirt probably got in here, but they do have these covers, which is kind of cool. So I'll probably do that. But yeah, man, let me give you a rundown of my little setup right here, taking it all apart. And then see, this is the front, the back, you know, instead of screwing the whole shock tower off, I'm just gonna dip it like how I showed you, so I don't have to take everything apart, because I don't want to mess around with the diffs. Then I'll dip the motor and spur gear here like that when I'm soaking it, and then it should be fine. Then I'm probably going to take those two center drive shafts, you know, rear and front, and soak those after I pre-wash. Alright, so I've got a couple of these buckets, and I have a big one. And here's the 16 ounce of distilled white vinegar I'm going to pour in here, so we'll see how that goes. I'm going to fill it up. We pour from both sides to kind of hit all areas there. There you go. And then I'll soak that in there. There we go. Alright, and we'll probably let it sit for about maybe an hour to 2 hours, you know. So if you have apple cider vinegar, I guess you gotta let it sit for like maybe 16 hours. But with this one, I heard with the distilled white vinegar for rust, it's maybe an hour. So we'll have to see. And then I bought a gallon of this too, and I'm gonna put it in that one, and I'm gonna put the remaining like parts over there, and the motor and all that other stuff, and try to separate the screws so I don't get them all mixed up in a smaller one too as well. Alright guys, after a quick rinse and a dry, you can see that the key is using a toothbrush. So I took a toothbrush, and you just kind of like brush within the lines of a shock body right here. Yeah, see, so in the cracks and the crevices, it'll clean up and look really good in that sense. These are the rears right here, so you can see the rears. I kind of cleaned them up, brush them down, nice and sparkly clean. You know, these springs I'll have to throw in with the vinegar as well, because they were a little bit rusty. But yeah, that's that. And then for the shocks, no special tools. You just get a little napkin, grip it with that, hand twist it off, and it comes right off the shock pit shaft like that. Okay, and then the top, you get a adjustable wrench to grip you know, this part, you don't need no special tools for that either. And then just hand twist this part off and it comes off. So let's take that bad boy off. And these covers are pretty cool because they keep dirt out and they kind of hook up on, they have these little, this little ridge on the end, and it kind of hooks into the top part of that, which is cool. So let's take that off. Alright, so so looking at how the oil is, you gotta let all the air bubbles come out first, and then, you know, there's the bladder. Make sure the shock piston is straight, because I think what's happening is the shock piston is bent, so I'm gonna have to take this apart and just try to straighten it out to make it smooth. So the issue was really this shock shaft being crooked, so I took it out, I hammered it a little. It goes in with the new weight, but it doesn't come back out good. You see that? Oh, it does a little bit. It does a little bit. I think, let me see, I think it's this one. Let me see. Yeah, see this one. See, you go in, it doesn't come out. Normally when you put the oil in the shock, you go in, it should like kind of slide out like that. You see it coming out by itself. I mean, that's how you know that the shaft is going good, you know, and the oil, and it's not crooked, and the inside is just pushing in there and it's like crooked. So that's basically what I tried hammering it. It's kind of stuck, but for now, until I order a new shock shaft, it's going to be kind of hard to kind of work with there. Yeah, so there it is, guys. Check it out. All the rust coming off these parts. I kind of got them in there. Makes it easier than taking them all apart. So I just kind of threw it in there because there's some other rusty parts. As you can see, the rust just coming right off of those gears. Spur gear and the other shafts there, the diff gears. Now I just threw this one down right here. This is the front. You know, you see those drive shafts. Slowly. This is like within like just 20 minutes, the rust is already coming off. Pretty sick. But yeah, so yep. Alright, y'all, so this is part one. I'm probably gonna soak it longer, overnight maybe, to get more of the rust, to make sure, because I read somewhere you should soak it like more than a couple hours, or I could be wrong, or maybe you'll see another video later tonight when I put it back together real quick. But yeah, it's a clean chassis now. It's wiped down, it's clean. Battery tray up in here. My ESC, and you guys saw like where I'm soaking up the rest of the parts. And that's it, you know. Get it back out here. Wheels are all cleaned off, you know, wiped them down. There's no dirt, you know, just little. I might upgrade it and get some new wheels or something like that. But anyways, thanks for watching. I will catch you on the next episode. Appreciate it. And I'm just had a lot of activities going on. I couldn't do it all at once, so hours later just kind of finished it up, dipped it in, cleaned it up, shocks rebuilt, and I'm enjoying my birthday cake and watch some football, and I'll catch you guys later.